They might just look like fancy old buildings, but every single part of a Catholic church communicates something about the faith to the people who walk through the doors. So let's go and have a look and see what we can find out. When you walk into any Catholic church, you'll walk through a foyer and into the main bit where all the regular or lay people sit. This bit is called the nave, and there are some technicalities on what counts as the nave, but in normal speak, it's anywhere the regular people sit. The word nave comes from the Latin word for ship, like the Navy. This is a reference to us all being in the same boat together. The church is like the boat that sails us through life, sometimes through storms and sometimes in calm weather. It's also a reference to the shape of the roof, which kind of looks like an upside down boat. Standing in the nave, the most obvious area of the church is up the front, usually up a step or three from the nave. This area is called the sanctuary and holds some super important bits of the church. The word sanctuary comes from the Latin word for holy, so it's the holiest part of the church, and it references the Jewish temple, which had a sanctuary where God dwelled. On the sanctuary you'll find a table, called an altar. An altar is a table where offerings to gods are made, in any kind of religion. In Catholicism, the offering we give is bread and wine, which becomes Christ's body and blood during the Mass. Again, in the Jewish temple, the altar was where animals were offered to God, and we refer to Jesus as the Lamb of God when he's on this altar. There's a fancy box, usually on the wall behind the altar, and it's called the tabernacle. After communion, the priest or another minister puts the leftover consecrated hosts, that's the bread that became Jesus, into the tabernacle. We believe that this is the physical presence of Christ, so it's the most holy thing in the church. It has a little light on the top called the light of the presence. If the light is on, Jesus is home. The chairs up on the sanctuary, they're for the priests to sit on during Mass, and the fanciest one is called the presidential chair. It's not for a president, but it's for the priest who presides, or is the main celebrant of the Mass. There'll usually be a fancy book stand up here too. This is called the lectern, and the book on top is called the lectionary. It's here that the Bible readings take place during Mass. Every Catholic church in the world reads the same readings each week. There's usually a crucifix, a big cross with Jesus nailed to it, on the back wall. This is a reminder of why we're here in the first place. Turning round from the sanctuary, in older churches you'll see a massive window on the back wall. The back wall is the western wall and usually contains a great western window. Traditionally, although not always, churches have the altar at the eastern end because Christ is believed to be coming back like the rising sun, so best be facing him when he does. The western window, and all other stained glass windows and statues that you see, tell the story of the faith in pictures. They were designed to communicate the faith to people who usually couldn't read, and even if they could, probably couldn't get their hands on a Bible. Stained glass windows are awesome, and I'll be making a video on them soon. Somewhere in the church there'll be a little room called the sacristy. This is like a changing room for the priests and servers, where their vestments are kept. They pop these on over the top of their regular clothes, so it's not much fun for them during summer. Finally, you might see a little room to the side with a couple of chairs in it, or in older churches there might be two doors next to each other, maybe with a little light. This is called the confessional, where Catholics go to talk through their failings with the priest and be assured of their forgiveness. Usually this doesn't happen during the service, but it happens at other times throughout the week. Hopefully this helps you understand the areas of a Catholic church next time you visit, and you are certainly welcome to visit, Catholic or not.